This presentation concerns a research work about a multisensory augmented reality application for cultural heritage named the Kandinsky experience. The research work has been carried out in the context of Politecnico di Milano in collaboration with Università Milano Bicocca. Traditionally, humans use writing and pictures to preserve and transmit knowledge. In recent years, books have been subjected to important modification related to the fact that ICT technologies and new devices are more and more diffused. Instead of the use of ink and paper, so traditional books, today written contents are displayed on technological devices such as e-book readers, computer displays, tablets, smartphones, and so on. The use of digital versions of books have a strong impact on the fruition of knowledge, which is much faster but sometimes also more superficial. However, the possibility to use a digital support can open new possibilities related to the user-book interaction, such as, for example, the addition of sound and audio tracks, the interaction through, for example, touch displays, and also the transformation into virtual reality and augmented reality applications of book contents. The main objective of the use of these technologies is to make the reading and learning activities much more engaging and immersive for the user, and then also much more efficient for different types of readers. So also for example, people with the language disorders. So, augmented and multisensory approaches have been used both in the case of books for children and young people who can particularly take advantage of augmented multisensory approaches, allowing them to keep their attention high. In fact, the possibility of look at, for example, the history of pieces of art and their meaning instead of only reading or listening to the explanation can reduce the need to have experienced users and increases the possibilities of learning and remembering information. Moreover, in order to improve the user engagement, the user experience must include the design of multisensory experiences that satisfy sight, touch, hearing, and smell senses. This is also due to the fact that psychological and neuroscientific research has shown that perception is always multisensory in nature. So, when we interact with the external world, our brain integrates pieces of information from these different sensory modalities. So, when we perceive different sensory stimuli, our brain integrates them in order to obtain a final multisensory perception. Among the other senses, the sense of smell plays an important role in the multisensory processing of information due to the fact that it recalls memories and deep emotions both at conscious and unconscious level. Also, smells can engage people to feel involved into and emotionally linked with any kind of situation, experience, and consequently stimuli. This is also why it is also possible to use smells for improving the experience of artwork. On the basis of this background knowledge, we developed a research work with the aim of augment the experience of the user by means of a journey through the Kandinsky's work performed with the aid of an augmented reality application. Specifically, we created the Kandinsky experience, which is a multisensory augmented experience that involves sight, hearing, and smell sense in order to provide a multisensory interactive way to approach art and consequently create a memorable experience for the user and improve his or her understanding of the content of the Kandinsky work. Specifically, for what concerns the topic of the experience, we focused our research on the artistic production and theories of the Russian painter Vasily Kandinsky, who is generally known as one of the pioneers of the abstract art. More importantly for our research is the fact that he carried out a wide theoretical analysis about the correlation among different sensorial stimuli, such as sound, and specifically in his case music, and visual cues, so pictorial works of art. So it's possible to affirm that his approach to art is already experimental and multisensory, and this is why it is suitable for our research work. Indeed, his vision of art is based on the idea that each element used to create an artistic composition arouses a specific vibration in the soul of the viewer, and that the combination of these stimuli generates a unique emotional experience. So, for example, in his theories, he focused his attention on some couples, and specifically 3 couples of elements. So, for example, we have the blue and the yellow colors, the straight and curved lines, and the triangular and circular shape. Also, he mixed these couples, and for example, yellow is considered as a perfect match with the triangle shape, and it is also associated to the sound of trumpets. Moreover, Kandinsky developed a complete theory about how each element of a pictorial work of art could be perceived by the viewer, but also could influence the perception of the other elements in the same work of art, and how the combination of all these elements could create a specific emotional responses in the viewer. So each element of the composition is characterized by a specific mood, almost a behavior, let's say, in relation to the other elements. So the Kandinsky experience has been designed to illustrate his theories through some of his artworks, organized in 3 different main sections, which are the colors, the lines, and the shapes. Also, in these main sections, the relationship between the pictorial element and the auditory stimuli is enhanced, respecting the author's indications, which were very clear. While concerning the olfactory stimuli that were just suggested by Kandinsky, they had been reinterpreted. Specifically, the associations between odors and paintings have been chosen according to the feature of each visual element described by Kandinsky. So, The selected odors cover different degrees of volatility, which means that each odor impacts on the capability to perceive other odors in a different way. And more in particular, with a lower volatility, odors being perceptually dominant, while higher volatility odors are very light and very easy to remove from our perception. So, for each section, we presented a higher volatility odor as first and a lower volatility odor as second. For what concerns the auditory part, the stimuli adopted are pieces of classical and experimental music. In particular, most of them have been selected among the musical work of John Cage. Indeed, his principles of inner resonance and his conception of art as a privileged conduit for universal ideas and present similarities, and we can say also correspondences and reference with the Kandinsky's concept of art. Focusing on the final application, the Kandinsky experience books consist of three main components. So we have a physical book, an application on smartphone or tablet, and a physical case. And all these elements are necessary in order to use the application on the smartphone or tablet. For what concerns the book, it contains a brief description of the Kandinsky theory divided into three main sections. Each section has a specific color that allow the user to easily navigate inside the book. So we have, as you can see, the colors in red, lines in yellow, and shapes in blue. In this section, 9 selected paintings, so 3 paintings for each section, are used as a marker for the augmented reality application and are also presented to the user. In particular, each painting represents a specific topic of Kandinsky theories, and for each topic, a quote from Kandinsky's book has been selected to better represent his concept. So each time that the user opens the book, the top page represents the written theory, so reports the quote of the Kandinsky book, while the bottom page presents the painting. Also, in each chapter, there is the indication of the correct cartridge of odor to be inserted in the device. The second component consists of the augmented reality application, which allows the animation of the most representative paintings of Kandinsky. In order to interact with the system, the users are asked to open the augmented reality application on their smartphone or tablet and frame one of the paintings in the physical book. So in this way, the augmented reality application can automatically recognize the painting and display the correct corresponding animation, music, odor, and also a verbal description. Specifically, when a painting is framed, a surface, an opaque surface appears and covers it, and then the user is asked to use the opaque surface as a main button, so press it and load the digital content. So therefore, after this step, 2 different interaction modalities have been developed and can be experienced by the user. So we have the experience book mode and the lab mode. In particular, the experience book mode has been designed to immerse the user in the multisensory experience as created by the authors on the basis of the Kandinsky work. So in this modality, for each painting, a corresponding 3D animation and a corresponding background music has been created and is added to the real painting. Also, the user is asked to press the other button to activate the corresponding olfactory displays for 10 seconds. The olfactory display will be automatically turned off in case of the user stops the application or goes back to the Mac menu or goes to a next painting. For example, in the colors chapter, we have three main paintings. So we have the Mary structure, which is linked to the yellow, which has a specific animation, as linked to the music for wind, the John Cage, and is associated with the lavender smell. And we have, for example, the blue painting related to the blue color, related to the 8th symphony, which has as corresponding odor the sandal odor. And finally we have the yellow, red and blue painting related to the yellow and blue color and associated with a book of music of John Cage and related to the lavender and sandal odors. Also in the lines section we have three different paintings related to different theories of Kandinsky, different animations, musics, and the cinnamon, jasmine, and cinnamon and jasmine odors. And finally, in the shapes section, we have also here three paintings, which are soft hard, several circles, and on point, related to triangle, circle, and triangle, circle elements. Also in this case, we have three different music bases, and we have here the bergamot and vanilla odors. Differently, the lab mode has been designed to allow users to interact with the paintings, manipulate the 3D models, and eventually create a personalized version of each painting. So in the lab mode, a recorder voice describing the painting features is automatically triggered and asks the user to interact with the painting by scaling, rotating, and translating the 3D models to better observe their details. Also, in this modality, the user is asked to press the other button to activate the corresponding olfactory displays for 10 seconds. Finally, a virtual gallery has been developed to allow users to access the contents of the book, even if they have not got it. More specifically, this is a virtual tour of the Kandinsky paintings accompanied by the quotes of the Kandinsky's book. The third main component of the system consists of the case made to accommodate the book and to place the olfactory displays that deliver the odors. Specifically, each olfactory display consists of a fan conveying air through a cartridge soaked with some drops of liquid scents. The case is equipped with two olfactory displays, one on the left and one on the right, and each olfactory display is able to provide one sense, so the two olfactory display can provide a combination of two scents when needed. Due to the fact that each painting corresponds to a specific olfactory stimulus, the cartridges can be replaced when indicated by the augmented reality application. Specifically, each cartridge has been named with the letter L or R, so left or right, and also with letters A, B, or C corresponding to each chapter of the book. Moreover, each couple of cartridges has been painted with the same colors chosen to characterize each chapter, so yellow, blue, and red, in order to make it easier for the user to recognize them. The case also contains an Arduino Uno board equipped with a Bluetooth module that allows the communication between the augmented reality application and olfactory displays. As soon as one painting is framed and the digital contents are loaded, the application connects to the Arduino Uno board through the Bluetooth connection. Then, when the other button is pressed, an input is sent to the board in order to activate the corresponding olfactory displays. Also, if proper testing sessions have not been performed yet, some preliminary comments and opinions from some users that have tried the applications have been collected. Users reported a very high level of appreciation of the application. They stated that the addressed topic is very close to their personal interests and stimulating from a cultural point of view, and they learning new knowledge about Kandinsky's work of art. Also, concerning the augmented reality application, they consider the experience as very immersive thanks to the used multisensory approach. For what concerns music, they stated that it was very effective in isolating them from the real environment, while for what concerned the olfactory stimuli, they were perceived correctly during the interaction and were considered as pleasant and stimulating. In the near future, the author intends to carry out laboratory controlled tests concerning the user's perceptual, emotional, psychological, and cognitive reaction to the overall experience. Also, we intend to carry out users' tests concerning the usability of the interactive system and the effectiveness of the device and the system in improving the learning process of the user.